You know that feeling when plans get canceled and instead of disappointment, you feel this secret wave of relief while your friends are texting, ugh, so annoying, you're quietly celebrating. You just got your evening back. You just got yourself back. And then comes that familiar guilt. Why am I like this? Why don't I want to be around people like everyone else? Here's the twist. Psychology suggests that people who genuinely prefer solitude aren't broken or antisocial. Their brains are actually processing social information in a completely different way. And once you understand the mechanism behind it, you'll realize you're not avoiding life. You might be living it more intentionally than everyone else. But first, we need to kill the biggest myth about you. Picture this. You're at a dinner party. Music's playing. Everyone's laughing. Conversations are flowing. You're smiling, nodding, saying the right things. But inside, your mental CPU is at 99% capacity. You're reading microexpressions, processing tone shifts, calculating social dynamics, monitoring the room's energy, adjusting your behavior in real time. Most people's brains handle this like a smartphone running 5 apps. Smooth, efficient, plenty of battery left. Your brain? It's running 50 apps simultaneously. Bluetooth on, brightness maxed. Streaming 3 videos while downloading updates. Psychologists call this social energy asymmetry. Your brain doesn't process social interaction like background noise. It processes it like high-definition surround sound, 4K social analysis. So when you finally get home and close that door, you're not hiding from people. You're closing the tabs. You're freeing up mental RAM. You're literally cooling down your neural operating system. That relief you feel, that's not antisocial behavior. That's your brain finally switching from performance mode to recovery mode. Now here's something counterintuitive that nobody talks about. People who prefer solitude often enjoy people more than the ones who claim to be social butterflies. Stay with me on this. When you're comfortable being alone, you don't need people to fill a void. You're not scrolling through contacts at 9 p.m. thinking, who can I text so I don't feel empty? You're choosing connection deliberately. Research on solitude preference shows that people who regularly spend time alone report deeper, more meaningful relationships. Not more relationships, better ones. Because when your social battery is charged, you show up differently. You're present. You're engaged. You're not just there because you're afraid of your own thoughts. You'd rather have one person who truly gets you than 100 people who just know your name. Your standards aren't low, they're specific. You're not collecting connections. You're curating them. This makes you look distant to people who need constant social stimulation. But in reality, you're just selective about where you invest your emotional energy. Here's the paradox. You might look like you don't need anyone, but when you do let someone in, you attach deeply, quietly, and intensely. Let's talk about why being alone feels so good to you. And this is where the science gets fascinating. When you're by yourself, your brain shifts into what neuroscientists call the default mode network, or DMN for short. For decades, scientists thought this was just your brain idling. They were wrong. When you zone out, when you're alone staring at the ceiling, when you're taking that long shower, your DMN lights up like a Christmas tree. This is where your brain consolidates memories, envisions futures, and connects random ideas that seemed unrelated 5 minutes ago. This is why your best insights come to you in solitude. While everyone else is constantly reacting to external stimuli, you're running complex mental simulations in the background. You're not just sitting there doing nothing. You're connecting dots that other people haven't even noticed are on the page. People who can't stand to be alone often struggle to access the state deeply enough or long enough. They're addicted to external validation and stimulation. But you've learned that boredom is just a loading screen before your brain shows you something interesting. This is why so many writers, artists, and innovators are solitary creatures. They're not antisocial. They're accessing a different mode of thinking that requires quiet space to operate. But we need to pump the brakes here, because there's a shadow side we have to address. There's a massive difference between solitude and isolation, and they look identical from the outside. Solitude is a choice. It's restorative. You come out feeling recharged and ready to connect when you choose to. Isolation is often a defense mechanism. It's fueled by fear, social anxiety, or old wounds that taught you people aren't safe. If you're staying home because you love your own company, that's healthy solitude. If you're staying home because you're terrified of being judged, rejected, or misunderstood, that's isolation wearing a disguise. The difference is simple. Healthy solitude leaves you feeling grounded and selective about connection. Unhealthy isolation leaves you feeling numb and resentful of people who seem to need others more than you do. Be honest with yourself. Are you choosing solitude because it genuinely serves you? Or are you hiding from something that actually needs your attention? Here's what's actually beautiful about people who thrive in solitude. You figure out something most people spend their whole lives avoiding: how to be enough for yourself. Not in an arrogant way, in a deeply secure way. You don't need external validation to feel real. You don't need constant stimulation to feel alive. You've built an internal world rich enough that being alone never feels like punishment. In a culture that's constantly screaming at you to be more social, more connected, more available, more on, that's almost radical. While everyone else is experiencing FOMO, fear of missing out, you're experiencing something different. JOMO, the joy of missing out. You understand something fundamental. You're the only person you'll spend every single second of your life with. If you can't enjoy your own company, how can you expect anyone else to? This gives you a superpower that most people don't recognize. You make decisions based on your own compass, not the group's opinion. You're less likely to be swayed by peer pressure because you've learned to trust your internal voice. You're not weird for preferring your own company. You're self-sufficient. And in a world full of people who can't sit in silence for 15 minutes without reaching for their phone, the ability to be content and quiet is the ultimate power move. So the next time someone asks why you're so quiet, or why you didn't come to party, or why you're eating lunch alone, don't make excuses. You're not antisocial. You're selectively social. You're not avoiding life. You're living it on your own terms. You're not broken. You're just running a different operating system, one that prioritizes depth over noise, quality over quantity, and internal wisdom over external approval. Your brain isn't malfunctioning. It's just optimized for a different kind of existence, one where connection is intentional, creativity flows freely, and peace isn't something you have to chase. It's something you carry with you. I'm curious, what's the one thing you absolutely love doing alone that you'd never want to do with other people? Drop your answer in the comments. I genuinely want to know what solitude looks like for you. If this hit a little too close to home and made you feel more normal in your weirdness, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next ones. Next up, we're diving into why some people are addicted to being busy. And trust me, it's not about productivity. It's about something way more uncomfortable that they're trying to avoid. See you there.